Hello, welcome to Canasta with Lindsay 1. I'm going to do a beginner canasta lesson on Canasta Junction. I'm going to assume that you know how to count the points of your cards and that the card flow goes clockwise around the table. You have a partner and your initial meld will be at 125. So I'm going to assume you know the basic mechanics. If not, do a little reading. And this is supposed to be a beginner strategy class. So we're going to start off here on Canasta Junction playing with 3 computers. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Also, please remember to watch this video at least 1.25 speed. They're very slow, a little boring, and you will be able to understand everything and get through it a bit faster. So let's get started. Just a moment to show you that this is a base of 5, which is how most modern American canasta games go. In this game, you may not go out with a pair and a wild card, although it is customary in a real game with people. Most of my games would play that you may go out with a pair and a wild card and a discard. And ask your teammate whether to go out. So let's see how we're going to do here. So with my 1 deuce and my low point count, I am going to play a defensive game, which means I'm unlikely to meld. However, I'll be very useful if my partner happens to meld and I have these small cards left to pick up the deck. In canasta, because you need 2 canastas with a minimum of 7 cards each, it is very difficult to set up your hand so that you'll be able to get 2 canastas without one person from your team picking up the deck. It's just the accumulation of cards, the strategy that you have to play defensively, as well as closing your canasta, means it will be very difficult to get the exact right combination of cards unless one of your team has picked up the deck. So very good for a computer, for a robot partner. I'm very happy that they melded. And now you see keeping my pairs that were never going to do me any good towards melding are very useful for taking the deck. Of course, I have a few problems with my 7s. I also have a little bit of a problem because the robots are not too bright and will not register the fact that I have too many 7s in my hand. Again, I'm assuming that you understand the basics, that you may have 2 7s and no more, or there'll be a 1,500 point penalty for your side. So 2 7s is the magic number, and the reason that you keep 2 7s is to prevent the other side from getting 7 of them. And the way the other side might get 7 of them is that if you're sloppy and don't keep 2. As long as your team keeps 2, you prevent the opponents from getting 7 of them. However, any more than 2 in your hand, and you will have a 1,500 point penalty. All right, so we only have 1 canasta, hoping my partner won't go out too quickly and give me a chance to discard down to 2 7s. The discard of a 7 by any person means that they have more than 2 7s. And once I stop discarding 7s, I'll be down to my exactly 2 7s, no more. And as soon as I stop discarding 7s, my partner should know that it would be safe for them to go out. I withheld these 10s because I did not want to have 2 closed canastas and tempt my partner to make a stupid move, such as going out before I had a chance to discard exactly down to 2 7s. Apparently they didn't have the right combination of cards in any event to be able to to go out once I was clean of my penalty. All right. So, nice first game. We actually were able to get the 1,000 points in threes. And I assume you know the threes are counted by color. 135, 1,000, 135, 1,000. So we had 500 in each of the red threes and black threes. Let's go on to the next hand. And we also managed to keep our score under 3,000. So once again, we're only melding at 125. All right, this hand is looking promising. I have 2 aces and a wild card. I have many possibilities here for getting a clean triple. And we're only at 125, so that's all good news. Sorry, you can pull the cards back with your fingers to see the discards. While I was talking, I wasn't paying attention. So we've got 3 5s discarded, and I believe I had thrown a 9. All right. I could safely discard my 5. And the reason I didn't is I am waiting to see if my opponents meld. And if I have to make a safe throw, I'm pretty sure the 5 would be safe because there were so many in the deck, and each of my opponents had discarded a 5. Now, of course, I have plenty of safe discards. This third 9, the 5, and the aces, which are not going to do me any good. I don't like to meld with things or waste my wild cards on canastas that I'm never going to be able to close. Take a chance here by throwing my only 7. That was not a move I would make in a real game, because when I throw a 7, my partner will automatically think that I have 2 other 7s in my hand and will start to discard all of their 7s, making it very risky for the opponents to get all 7 7s. In this situation, I know the robots don't understand signaling, so if they had 7s, they will keep them. Unfortunately, they didn't give away the deck, and they were not quite onto my strategy, which was protect the deck until one of us has enough points to meld. Easy come, easy go, especially in these computerized games. Okay. Not too many things we could actually close here. We won't be able to close the jacks or the 10s, maybe only or the aces. Only my kings are a possibility. So let's see. 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, 110, 20. I'd like a third king. It would make it much easier for me to meld with something my partner. But card gods are not being good to me, and I feel like it's better at this point to meld and get a Talon. If I wait another turn or so, may not be able to. I guess we were never going to close the 7s anyway. I mean, close the kings anyway. All right. The lowly 6 came to our rescue. And possibly the 8, so let's see what happens. I could pick up another 8. All right, I guess this was a poor play on my part. We'll take all the blame. Now, it definitely looks as though my partner had a nice enough hand to be able. But I can't blame them. All right, so now we're at 155. We are over 3,000 points. Our opponents are also at 155. Changing the strategy just a little bit. So here we are at 155, and I have a nice assortment of cards to be able to meld. So I am going to play a little more aggressively. I I need a clean triple outside of my aces. Kind of hurts our chances for melding. All right, so let's see. I will have 120. Let's go for it. So in a normal game, of course, you would never leave yourself with just 2 cards. And a good player would have discarded a jack, tried to false card me to make me think they didn't have jacks. They would never get down to just 2 cards in this situation. Sometimes it's easier to explain the strategy just by telling you the poor things that the opponents are doing, the computer opponents. All right, well, we're going to go out now and prevent them from getting a second canasta and prevent them from getting their 3s. All right. So they still got their joker canasta. I believe they had all 4 big jokers. And we did as well as could be expected, considering that they had 7 wild cards. All right. The opponents will need 180 points to meld, and we'll need 155. So this hand is not looking as though I will be able to meld at 155. I have 1 juice, a couple of low cards, no triple of any 10-point value cards. So I'm going to play this hand defensively from the very beginning. I am going to hope that my partner melds. If not, I'm going to try to formulate a special hand. All right, now it's looking at my stray king and my 8 are reasonable discards, and the computer. In every social game, competitive social game, once the person on your right has melded, your automatic discard would be a 7 or an ace, something safe to discard if they haven't melded aces. And the reason for that is I will know at that juncture that that 7 is not a signal. So it's always almost a requirement to discard a 7 to keep the deck safe until you see what kind of cards the opponents put down. Okay. I might get stuck aces here because they have 2 canastas. So let's see. I'm going to give it 1 more turn here. So, unfortunately, we had a penalty of having more than 2 aces in my hand at the end, and that was my bad. See if I can improve my score here a little bit now that we're back to 125. We lost a lot of points to 1,500 for the aces and a lot of 3s. So as you saw when I discarded my third 7, in this case, my real-life opponent would always be discarding 7s. They would automatically throw every 7 that they had, and unfortunately the computer doesn't know to do that, to get down to no 7s, leaving me to be the keeper of the 7s. I'll play along. Alright, now you see I could go out at this point, but my strategy is first of all to wait until either we get more 3s, so we'll have a higher plus score, or the opponents get more 3s so that they have a greater minus score. Keep them out of the range of winning. So I can still go out here. My partner's discard was a jack, not a 7, so they are clean. I'm going to close a couple of canastas here and go out. In a real game, you should be asking your partner, may I go out? But I know that we discarded their 7s down to just 2. It was safe. So we set them back about 1,000 points. We gained a big score. We're up at 180 now after my little problem with the aces. And we're off. And now I have a very nice hand for melding. I already have 120, 145 points. I need another pair of 10-point cards. Another ace would be spectacular, but I won't sit around for it. So now we have 155. This. Because even a third 6, even a clean 6 that wouldn't require one of my wild cards was not going to help me in the melding department. What I actually need is another pair of 10-point cards to put the wild cards. I need a 9, a king, whereas an ace would be nice. Now that makes it extra nice. Here I'm going to sit back and possibly wait to meld and take the deck because I have 120, 30, 120, 30, 40, 50, 60. I have 185. I'm going to take that nice 10. There were not any penalty cards in the deck. No, not too many 7s, aces, nothing that was going to cause me any anxiety. So when your side is not melded aces, the philosophy is the same for aces and 7s. So all of a sudden, when we have not melded aces, we have to discard down to exactly 2 aces. Neither person should have more than 2 aces in their hand at the end of the game. And the discard of an ace by either person should mean that they actually have 2 other ones in their hand, and they will keep those 2 aces or 2 7s until death do us part. It's very important that it's the corollary to signaling 7s is that you actually keep the other 2 7s you've already signaled. I do believe that my partner, having signaled aces now, would also have an opportunity to take the deck if the opponents got sloppy and discarded too many aces. That's when the signaling comes into play. They would have the opportunity to take the deck and have all of the 7s in there. All of the aces in there. Alright, so they had kept the 2 aces until the very end. That last ace discard was because it was more important to guard the 7s than the aces, as the opponents hadn't melted. All right. Let's see what's going to happen here. So this, okay, we have no wild cards. We're at 180. This clearly is the time to go for a special hand. This game allows you to have pairs with wild cards, in which case you would need 2 aces and 2 sevens. Palm Beach pairs, which is 2 big jokers and 2 deuces, as well as aces and sevens. And they also allow you to do a special hand called zip code, which is 4 of a kind, 4 of a kind, 3 of a kind, 3 of a kind, 2 of a kind, 2 of a kind. So I have my 4 of a kind, my 4 kings, 3 of a kind, 3 of a kind, 2 of a kind. And if I were to pick up a 4, that would make it a zip code hand. 4, 3, 3, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2. Unfortunately, it may be over with the opponents getting a wild card canasta, unless I draw 4 here. Change strategy, try to go for the 9. Well, now the 9 is not looking promising. However, I think I'll be able to discard it safely. So now a queen will make up my special hand, as my zip code hand. Of course, you may have noticed that I chose poorly from the very beginning, and had I just kept the 6 and discarded the 4s, I would have had zip code right away before the opponent had a chance to put down their wild card canasta. So that's poor choosing on my part. Now I don't think even zip code will help us to win the game. Well, what do you know? Another poor decision. Okay, that's actually funny. Well, thank you all for a very unfortunate lesson in beginner canasta. And I'll try to do better next time.